The Bald Soprano is the first play written by Romanian-French playwright Eugene Ionesco. Plot. The play opens on Mrs. Smith reciting the events of the night with Mr. Smith. They discuss the death of someone they knew, Bobby Watson. The play then shifts back to reality and they realize that Bobby has been dead for 4 years. Suddenly they flash back to when he was alive and engaged to a woman who was also called Bobby Watson. Then they shift back to reality where they realize that he has left behind 2 children and they are gossiping about who his wife will remarry. Allegedly she is going to name another relative by the same name, but being that they all have the same name and work in the same industry, the Smiths have a difficult time figuring out who is who. As the Smiths are arguing, their maid Mary enters, announcing that the Martins have arrived. After entering the room, the Martins realize that they have met each other before. They are surprised to find that they are both from the city of Manchester, that they both took the same train to London, that they both travelled 3rd class, that they both reside at number 19 Bromfield Street, that they sleep in the same bed, and that they both have a 2-year-old daughter named Alice with 1 red eye and 1 white eye. They come to the conclusion that they are husband and wife. When they fall asleep, Mary informs us that Mr. Martin's daughter has a white right eye and a left red eye, while Mrs. Martin's daughter has a white left eye and a red right eye. Therefore, they can't be husband and wife. When the Smiths return, they begin to talk about their guests. Then the doorbell rings and the fire chief enters. He's disappointed to find no fire at the Smiths, but they promise that they'll call him if one occurs. While they wait for something to happen, they begin telling stories, none of which make sense. Finally, Mary enters and tells her own story, in which she reveals that she is the lover of the fire chief. The Smiths then push her out of the room as the fire chief excuses himself. Then the Martins and the Smiths recite nonsensical truisms. Then all sense of language dissipates as the 2 couples argue. However, no one is able to communicate and none of their issues are resolved. As they argue, the lights fade. When they rise again, the Martins are in the Smiths' living room, repeating the same lines with which the Smiths opened the play.